Hi, everybody. Welcome to the channel. Today, we're going to be trying a different project. It's named Arthedonia, as in anhedonia and art combined. And the point of it is to basically have people submit on Mile's server called Creative Meets. Is that right?
Yep.
In order to receive some of this art from schizoids and maybe in the future schizoid adjacent type peeps, and some of their artwork that maybe they oftentimes don't want to show to the public or have trouble for a variety of reasons that we can discuss later as to why that may occur. But just to give them an opportunity to anonymously, if they want to, or if they just use like a tag or something from Discord or anything else, they can kind of submit their art, considering that many times they don't. So it's sort of a platform creating type situation combined with the supporting of artists that have these sort of hesitancies and difficulties, whether individually and at home with mental health related issues, or also with in their ability to sort of put forward their art into the world, and maybe creating a space in which they feel relatively safe to be able to do that, and not as exposed and not as judged and not as I guess what's the word I'm looking for. um, I don't know. I'm trying to think of like a located, found, seen, less seen, I guess. As seen as they are comfortable being seen, especially when you're talking about people dealing with schizoid PD and things of that nature. So I'm here with Mila. Today we are going to actually be looking at some of Mile's art as kind of the first episode or whatever of this, so that we can kind of give a rundown, talk a little bit about what it is we're working on, and then give a rundown of how and what it is that we're trying to, like, how we're trying to talk about this art and what we're trying to do and the approach we're trying to take and all that kind of stuff, and maybe learn a little bit about the artists themselves if they're willing. So uh, say hello, Mile.
Hello.
That is Mile. So if you are, sorry, that headset thing bugging me. Um, if you're expecting Mile to say a lot of things, it probably won't happen too much. But I'm gonna attempt to pry out as many words out of their brain as humanly possible over the course of this hour or so. All right, so that's enough bullshit stuff. Mile, just so the people listening know who the fuck you are, would you care to explain who you are in some capacity, at least in relation to this and all that?
I'm Mille. I'm an artist. Yeah, I have a server that you can join if you want, that's aimed towards outsider artists, as Angst so kindly introduced me to that term.
Oh, outsider art. Yeah, outsider art
Yeah.
rules. It's like the best. What would you like to say? What it is, or
Yeah, basically it's artists who have little to no education in art, and basically the mentally ill hermits, and just art that is considered unconventional,
mm-hmm.
I guess. So yeah, stuff like that.
Yeah. So a lot of people in that realm are people that don't have formal training or very little formal training. Uh, Perhaps nowadays, I'm assuming that a lot of people are that would be considered in that would have some kind of training only because of the internet, and maybe they train themselves by watching things like
Hmm.
watching videos, looking at tutorials, and then kind of self-taught in a kind of indirect sort of way, and then on top of that, experimented with their own style and so on and so forth. Usually, I can imagine that people like that are probably not the best at trying to say go to a university or go to a formal learning school for that sort of stuff because of incompatibilities that they may have with that social environment and everything else. And so because of those reasons, I can imagine they'd want to avoid such a situation, and so thus they would just learn what they want, how they want to, and in the way they want. because they're kind of probably not uh, concerned too much with doing whatever it is that they're supposed to do in accordance to the way a lot of this art is taught, things like that. So I don't know. That's just my thoughts on it. But what is it, in your own words, Mele? What is it that you want to like? Why do this? Like, why work on this with me? What is it about Arthedonia that calls your attention that you think is going to be interesting, and what is it that you think we can get out of it? And we're gonna be doing.
I'm just personally very interested in schizoid creativity, or um, creativity in general that's unconventional. So that's, I think, my main reason for wanting to do this.
So, what do you think putting art such as this, or giving an opportunity to schizoids and peeps like that to be able to put their art out in a safe way, what sort of results or what sort of thing do you think that's going to be providing the people we work with?
Um, I'm just hoping it'll be a comfortable kind of way for them to express themselves or share whatever they want, however much they want. So we have like we planned for this to be basically the kind of thing where they can themselves decide how much they want to reveal and how much they want to be involved. If they want to be anonymous, they can, or if they want for us to promote the shit out of them, we can, and they can even join here themselves
Just
to talk.
I can't imagine too many Zoids jumping on and be like, promote the shit out of my art. It's the best. I'm the
Yeah,
best. Like I don't.
you know what I mean. You
No,
know
I
what I
know.
mean.
I'm kidding. I'm fucking around. But no. What I was interested in, like myself, in regards to this is similar. But I have like in my head, I have these ideas of like trying to cultivate like schizoid ambition, which is weird. Like those two words together is kind of odd to hear, in the sense that like giving people that are like this an opportunity to show their art, whether and it's not just to clarify, Mele, it's not just limited to visual art, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Like
No,
what
it's
other
not.
forms of art would be people be able to submit once all that's available?
Um, photography, music, um, just anything that's considered art, pretty much anything that's
That's
creative.
anything. That sounds like anything, right? At all. Well, what I was saying is, I what's important to me is giving an opportunity for some of these people to feel as if the things they're creating could be understood, do have value to other people that can understand it, that can empathize with it, whether cognitively or affectively, even more so, because it's something. Some of the messages, the ideas, the things that you're putting down on paper or otherwise, whatever media you like to use, might be things that you don't often share because of insecurities and issues that you might have trying to display this sort of stuff. Not that like we would be exclusive to only artists that are schizoid that don't ever show their art. That's I don't think that's what we're going for. But nonetheless, people that have a lot of hesitation when it comes to this stuff, and a lot of maybe anxiety and things like that. And I want to hear about where it's coming from and why it's there, and I want to give them a place in which they can put it out so that maybe they feel more comfortable doing so in other places that are less comfortable to do so in. And then maybe people that are interested or can understand or do understand the art they're producing can also be interested in contacting them via whatever means that they're comfortable with. If there's somebody that accepts commissions, or if there's somebody that is selling paintings or selling music or selling something for, or does services, artistic services and stuff, but they don't have the social stamina to actually put themselves out there, and so the ambition kind of just shrivels into nothing. um, but yeah, anyway, it's just a thought, and it's kind of what kind of motivates me to want to do this and work on this.
Mille aka editor here. Sorry for text-to-speech, but I tried to record this a few times and couldn't get the audio to sound right. Robot voice feels appropriate anyway. But we forgot to mention this in the recording itself. We never explore the most important question that we want to ask from each schizoid artist in this project, which is, what does art mean to you? And as I'm starting as an example to kick off this project, I guess I'll explain what it means to me briefly. Art means a lot to me. I guess I don't always like to admit that, because it feels like such a strong expression, but I don't really have anything else. Whether that's me coping by making art, drawing, writing, making music and stuff, or listening to music or watching movies or shows. I've never had much interest in anything other than art, nor talent. It's hard though, since I don't feel any sense of accomplishment from making things. I don't get that yay I did a thing feeling that I assume most people get. It's very hard for me to get any sort of motivation to do stuff. And nowadays, even when I look at my art, I don't feel anything. It used to mean something when I was younger, but it's quite hard to feel that now. I want to feel that accomplishment. When I can't feel connected to anything else in the world, at the very least I'd want to feel connected to art. That's all. Moving on. D.
So, what's interesting is, like I mentioned, this is going to be Mila is going to be my kind of co-host to this, in interpreting and looking at some of the art. I'm going to be just looking at it and off the cuff rambling and kind of stream of consciousness talking about what I'm seeing and what I'm looking at and have questions about. If the artist is able to be there with us, even better, because then they can actually talk and answer questions or not answer questions or tell me no or tell me yes, whatever they want. I don't care. There is no limitations as far as that goes. Mile, I know you're going to be looking at the art and kind of taking notes and kind of studying it a little bit more on your own time to kind of get what it is that you want out of it, right? So you're going to be looking at it prior to any kind of recording, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's like a very different dynamic and approach that we're taking. That's because we're very differently unique people, personality-wise. Personality disorder does not mean a personality in every case. Okay, so I'm going to start with this one. Now, what is the name of this piece?
Self-portrait.
Self-portrait. So why call it that, first of all?
It's just, I usually just try to draw what I feel, even if it's hard, because it's hard to know what you're feeling sometimes. But so I didn't really have a plan for this particular piece, but I just started drawing a bunch of things that I felt like drawing, just and kind of just how I view myself, I suppose.
Interesting. Okay. Because like I see a lot of interesting details. What do you use to create? What medium or what do you like to use to create a lot of your art? Like what sort of I mean, whether it's a program or whatever it is that you like to use.
I use Clip Studio Paint
Mm-hmm.
to do digital art on my drawing tablet.
So you do a lot of this on your tablet?
Yeah, all of it nowadays.
Is it preferable that way?
Yeah, it's easier to me.
Now, this is where I start asking specifics because I'm just looking at it. Like, because I think you might have posted this one at one point on the server, right? So I think I've seen this one. I'm not sure if all of the ones that you chose today, but I know I've seen this one. But I never I've looked at it before and I liked it, but I never really sat down and stared at like the minutia of it. So that's why I'm kind of interested. And if you don't have an answer to something, that's fine. It doesn't need one, obviously. Um, I'm just trying to kind of figure out what it is I want to ask, and I already have a million questions. So, first of all, why flesh and bone?
Because I feel like my body is what I like to call a meat suit. these days,
Mm-hmm.
and that's pretty much my interpretation of it.
So
Personally,
so this is your self-portrait of your meat suit.
yeah, I don't know how well it comes across, but it's like uncomfortable and heavy and alien to me.
So why? Okay, so okay, I get the flesh and bone now. That makes a lot of sense. Why a piece of steak more specifically? I was
I just
always
felt like
curious about that.
slapping it on there.
Is it supposed to be a part of its body, or is it a separate object, like a slab?
Separate.
So it's like a slab of meat just stuck up there,
Yeah.
like all the other things. I see a theme of like insects, and well, you got snails, you got some kind of insect right here. Are they specific ones, or is there a reason you like to have insects in the self portrait? What about insects relates to yourself?
I mean, I do like insects and bugs, but they're well. The thing with my art is it's hard to explain in words what I tried to do with something.
Mm-hmm.
Like I can imagine it in my head, like in kind of an abstract way,
Yeah.
why I include something, but I don't have words for it, and that's kind of the reason I even make drawings in the first place. So when put things that I don't really know how to put into words.
Are Since you said this is a self portrait of your meat suit, are the things like it's like a beetle? That's like a beetle, right? It's like some kind of beetle, or
It's some kind of water bug. I don't remember
oh,
the
are
name
these
anymore.
leaves or are these its appendages?
Its legs.
Oh yeah, it's the like. Okay, cool. Yeah, it's almost like a crustacean, huh? Um,
Mm-hmm.
are these like insects and like this life that's kind of on your meat suit? Are they like symbols of like comfort and something good, or further symbols of like decay and
The
disarray?
snail, the snail is kind of you know, snails move slow, so it's kind of there to represent how like time is just, I don't know, it's weird to me. And
How,
I also like snails, so
yeah, yeah, snails are cool. Snails or
yeah,
slugs? You're gonna start a war over this, but snails or
snails,
slugs? Snails beat slugs.
yeah,
Do you like slugs?
they're okay, but they don't have a home on their back.
Oh, doesn't that make them even further tragic? Um,
Yeah,
let's see here, and why this little Christian? Like, oh well, you already explained. But so is this the snail represents that? What about this little guy? Is this because he's cute? So I'm wondering if there's anything positive associated, like feeling some kind of positive feeling associated to that
in
guy.
this case, it was more there to be like weird. Like a lot of the things that I included are just meant to be weird.
What is your definition of weird?
Actually, I don't think I have really any kind of definition for it, but
Yeah.
I know what people would generally see as weird.
Are you trying to like? Is it supposed to be something intentionally, um, just out of place or odd? Like, is that it's kind of what it's trying to be?
Yeah,
So I see also that there's like, I was gonna say that this thing only has one eye, but I see a second one down here. Um, and I'm looking at the. That's just so interesting because, yeah, I'm just what I'm interested in is I see the bottom jaw and then I see the top. Is this the top of the mouth?
yeah,
And this is the bottom, right? And
Yeah,
is this this is the is this eye belong to the same portrait that just kind of slipped its way down there?
yeah,
Interesting. That's fascinating. I never noticed that before. These fingers, do they belong to something else or to the same person?
something else.
What is that something else? If you have an answer to that,
The
that's crawling
things,
out.
the things crawling in my head.
Your
I,
thoughts?
I mean, yeah, that's the best way I can describe it.
Are they bad thoughts? Are they happy thoughts? Are they any thoughts? Are they? Why are they
Just
crawling?
they're just there. They're just meh.
They're just me. Love it. Oh, sorry. I love asking questions and I love hearing answers. Is there any reason why the tongue is out, or is that just? I don't know. Like it seems like a little mocking, but I'm not sure.
I think I tried to just describe how uncomfortable it can be to try to talk, and
Oh,
I
yeah,
think that thing in that picture, like the whole creature,
yeah.
it's like it's gurgling and struggling.
To breathe and be alive.
Yeah,
All right. Uh, Is this this orifice? Is this the inside of a mouth or a ear? Because it could be either. It's so misshapen.
it's the inside of the mouth.
Oh, okay. Fascinating. Okay, so now to the thing that stands out to me the most, honestly, the child or the baby. You got your signature right there. What are we looking at here? Because what I'm seeing is like, um, just what pops into my head is like inner child type stuff or shadow
Yeah,
self, things like that.
that's exactly it.
So if this is a self portrait, let me ask, is this is this the person that exists in the flesh suit?
No, it's like your inner child is still in you, but it's dead and decayed or sleeping.
That's a big difference. It's dead or sleeping. Sleeping soundly in death. Like, um, I love that. I love that. Okay, this is awesome. I'm having a lot of fun with this. I hope it's not too intrusive or bothersome for you.
No,
And if it was, then well, shit. How are we gonna get anybody else to do it, right?
yeah,
And remember, I know this is your stuff, but if we get other people on here and they kind of don't mind being asked questions, yeah, I'm sure you're gonna have your own list of questions, huh? You're gonna have beforehand. And
yeah.
that is what is exciting to me. I hear myself talk enough. I want to hear other people's thoughts.
My work is heavily influenced by Jan Svankmajer. Schwankmajer, I'm not sure how to pronounce it, but yeah, he just basically makes weird stop motion movies or short movies and things like that, and I just find it fascinating. And
It's like
for
surreal type
some
shit,
reason,
right?
yeah, for some reason it speaks to me. And also I can see quite a lot of mistakes in there because this was one of my first digital pieces that I ever made. So I can like see that I shaded with black, which do not shade with black unless your thing is black and white, because it just looks ugly.
Well, I'm dumb and I can't tell the difference. It just looks cool to me. But I know to an artist's eye, you can probably definitely spot the difference. Uh,
Yeah.
Anything else you wanted to share about that?
Um. No, I think that's it.
Interesting. Okay, I'm going to the next one now. All right, so this is the second one you wanted to look at, right? So
Yeah.
let me You know what? Just go ahead. Let's do it in the reverse order that we did the last one. Go ahead and tell me what the inspiration is for this image, and then we'll go from there.
Basically, I just wanted that skeleton thing to kind of represent both the world and the individual, however you want to look at it. This was also a year ago, so I don't remember my exact thoughts, but you know, I think I just sat down and drew my feelings as I usually do.
Well, this is what your feelings looked like at the time, right? All right. So obviously, for obvious reasons, I think my eye immediately is drawn to the steak again. The goddamn steak. Is this a running theme in some of your work, like
Yeah,
cuts of meat?
yeah.
That's so interesting. So, again, is there a reason for that steak, or you just wanted to plop it on there?
The sentence that comes to my mind when I think of that slab of meat is just a piece of meat. Like something is just a piece of meat.
With like, so removing it from its context and what it is, which is a piece of that which was once alive, right?
Yeah,
But now it's just a slab of meat.
yeah.
I just, you know what's funny is, like, this is what I picture in my head. Like, I picture somebody is like, I picture you making this and then going, it needs something, and then you slap some meat on something. That's like how I picture it. Like, I picture like the piece is done and you're like, need some meat, and then you just kind of, it's like you almost literally fling it onto the painting, and
Mm-hmm.
it's like that's where it landed right there, and it could have landed over here by the what are these called again, nesting dolls, right?
Matryoshka doll,
Oh,
I
okay.
think.
Well, that's the tech, but I think in English they call them nesting dolls or something like that.
Yeah, I
Because they
don't know
nest
the
into
English
each other.
name.
They're the ones that you can take apart, right? And then they have little
Yeah,
ones
yeah,
inside and all that.
yeah.
Yeah, I like those. Okay, so let's get into this. Man, I see a lot here that I'm really interested in. So first, this is like a flower pot, right, or some kind of like flower, like a vase or something, right? Or is it meant to be something else, like a bowl?
It's just the other half of the doll,
Oh shit!
like
I'm an idiot.
came
Okay,
came
yes,
inside of the doll.
thank you.
Like it's
Yeah. So it's been basically pried open, and that's what's inside of it. Instead of other dolls, it's got this. Um, so was this thing just born out of it? Is that why there is an egg shell?
yeah, basically it's I wanted the doll to be or represent the caretaker or the birth giver, whatever that means in each case, like whether that's um, the so-called god of the world or people of power in the world,
Yeah,
or the parent of an individual.
yeah. That which brought forward this life, right? Um, what I find interesting too is like, this is like, is this like a, it's like a spinal cord, right?
Yeah,
But it's just interesting because of the way it's I mean, the way it's drawn and the way it looks. It just reminds me also of a centipede or a millipede, which is,
it's actually the spine of a snake that I used for reference.
oh, so it's a snake spine. And what kind of sort of bird is this? Like a
I think it was a chicken.
I'm all saying vulture, fucking chicken. That's so interesting. A chicken snake. Um, why the flower? Why the wilting flower? Is it just like, what does that mean to you?
I just like using wilted flowers in my art as symbolism,
So just
and
symbols of decay and stuff.
like especially white flowers to represent like the death of innocence or something like that. And I just like flowers; they look good.
Do you like wilted flowers aesthetically in general?
Yeah, I
I
do.
think there's something pretty about them. Um, why the nesting doll? For me, it feels like is it because it like holds things?
I don't know. I don't have words for why I exactly
Yeah,
chose a nesting doll.
I don't expect you to give them to me if you don't have them. No worries. Um,
But like it's hurt, and there's this misattunement. And I guess I like how the nesting doll has like this face that looks like it's it's feminine, and
like a
I think
mother.
that just fits the thing I was going for.
Why is it crying? I wonder. Is it crying because it's unhappy with the results, or is it crying because of its failures? Like that's what's interesting. That brings up a lot of questions as to what the doll is crying about exactly. Okay, so beyond the foreground, I'm sure the background has its own meaning. Um, people on fire. Is this? Are they on fire?
Yeah,
People on fire. Is this? What is this over here in the corner? Is that more flames or what is that?
yeah, it's just things.
Flames. I see crosshatched numbers. I see a lot of like negative statements about like themselves or something. I see it's my fault. I see no, no, no. The counting are the dashes like the counting of time?
Yeah,
Was it intentional for the S to be reversed?
yeah, like child
Yeah, it's doing
sometimes
it
writes.
incorrectly. Yeah. Why the childhood imagery in the background? Why the fire?
Just to represent the chaos and guilt and all that stuff that can come from misattuned parents or world or anything like that.
Gotcha. And then the self blame, right, for those things.
Yeah,
You know what it reminds me of? Like this art, and then like it's my fault in the nose. I don't know if you've ever played it, but it reminds me of Binding of Isaac.
I've heard of it, but
Yeah,
no,
yeah,
I,
because
I
he
haven't played.
draws like the little character in it. He draws things like that all over his room. Just imagery like that and self hate and stuff like that. Interesting. Yeah. So what I'm getting out of this is it has a lot to do with just childhood and parental connection, right?
Yeah,
Just parental connection, more specifically, or lack thereof, and the tragedy that comes with it. Anything else you want to share about it?
no, I think that's it.
Cool. If anybody else sees some of this stuff and anything resonates with you out there, put it in the comments. Put in the comments. Oh, in reference to this picture, the second one or the first one, or however you want to name it, the one with the chicken, chicken snake. Um, put in your ideas. Put in your comments on like what you're getting out of it. Your interest in it, and so on and so forth. Obviously, try to keep things nice. If you just are gonna type "it sucks," well, you suck. So whatever.
No,
Um,
it's fine
well,
if you think it sucks.
okay. So Mila says it's fine. You can put "it sucks." All right, but it'll still annoy me. But you're more than welcome to. I'm not gonna ban you for saying it. So, what is this one called? Oh, what was the last one called?
Unsound.
Well, that's the fucking first thing I should have asked. So this is going to be our third and last image. This is the one I really, really want to talk about too. I like this one a lot. Something about that little figure just really resonates with me. Okay, so what I'm seeing here, what is this one called?
A joke that goes on for way too fucking long.
A joke that goes on for way too fucking long. I'm just like taking it in here. I'm like, is this both your signature and part of it? I like
Yeah.
that. I dig that. So if it says starring Mille, is the puppet Mille?
Yeah.
So this is almost like another little kind of self-portrait.
Yeah, most of my stuff is self-portraits in one way or another.
Okay, I like this one because it's a lot. It's really minimal compared to the other two, right? Like there isn't. There's not as much happening on in it at once, or as much imagery in it as once, and I kind of dig that because there's empty space. You get me? And I
Yeah.
like the empty space. For me, looking at this, obviously you have the joke. Um, Somebody is pointing. I don't know if this is this a cabbage or a face or cabbage with a mouth on it.
It's just a weird flower.
Oh, it's a flower. Yeah, okay, so it did look plant-like. I just couldn't tell. It's a oh, so it's like a flower with teeth.
Yeah.
Um, it's kind of cute now that I think about it. Um, and something or someone is pointing and laughing at the jester, whoever they may be. Well, we know it's Mille. It says
Yeah,
it right here.
I made this one because, it usually feels like I'm this wooden clown or jester who doesn't know how to human and other people in that sense sometimes feel like perfect little flowers who have their shit together. And I mean, of course I'm aware that's not exactly true, but still. And I've often wondered if there's some higher being just laughing at me who created me as a joke and pointing pointing to me like, look at this idiot. Um, I know that's like edgy bullshit, but it's how I felt
No, it's
like
not edgy
most
bullshit.
most recent time.
No, that's called it's called existential anxiety. So I wouldn't call it edgy bullshit. It's that question of why am I even here? Is it to be mocked? And that's a question many human beings have struggled with most of human history, I'm guessing. Um, Sorry, I'm also just trying to like look at certain things. Why the jester? Like, why not? Like, is there something about a jester, or is it supposed to be more specifically like a clown?
Chester,
Mm-hmm.
um,
Like, why a jester in relation to you?
like how Chesters used to entertain the royals,
Yeah,
and that's kind of how I feel with uh, me, me being me, and uh, some higher being that may or may not exist.
like you're just there to entertain them with your unhappiness and misery.
Yeah,
See, like when I see this, like if I were to like internalize this image, what pops into my head is like performing for others and masking. Like for
yeah,
me,
that
it's
too.
yeah. For me, that would be because I've always like growing up, I was the class clown and stuff like that. For the very reason that
Same.
you were that class clown in school.
Yeah, in some schools I was, depending on the school I was in.
Because usually being the silly class clown person, it basically makes it so people expect less of you, but at the same time aren't like hating on you either.
Yeah,
Like you're just a silly clown person, and it's okay. It's okay for the jester to act the fool, right? That's kind of the idea of a jester, right? Because if you act like a jester but you're not a jester, people will hate you, and people will attack or disrespect or insult you in every capacity that they can. Um, well, they'll actually actively want to get rid of you or harm you. But if you're a jester acting like a fool, or the fool acting like a fool, it's actually it's actually a pro-social thing, right? It's what's expected, and it's what is a good. It becomes a tool to be left alone, to be to have people not bother you and not trouble you as much. But it still hurts to be this kind of performing fool, especially when no one can see the strings. So it's yeah, this one really hits me home personally because I really understand that one. I understand that feeling. And again, even though it's a wooden puppet, it's got like skeletal features, right?
Yeah,
Why doesn't it have a mouth?
to show that the feeling of not really being able to talk back or ask for help.
Yeah, because what would be the point? No one's listening, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of that whole "I have no mouth, but I must scream" type thing.
yeah,
Oh god, that's hard. This is just like laughter back here. And again, I like this. It's just, are these just aesthetic again? Just scratchings? And when you do this, when you do the scratching all over, is it with thought or is it because it's not random? Because I don't see scratching here. I don't see scratching here. I don't see much scratching at all throughout the. Unlike the first one we looked at, it had a lot of scratches all kind of in random places. These are specifically on the words. Is there any reason for that?
like just someone trying to scratch away the words.
Is that someone you?
Yeah,
Damn, some heavy shit. For some reason, the empty space really makes me uneasy. I don't know how to describe it. Then again, I have my own agoraphobia issues, so probably because of that. People staring and an empty space. I like, but I don't like. Okay. So that was all the ones we were going to talk about right today, as far as your stuff.
yeah.
Um, I know you had taken some notes and put some things together. Is there anything you want to mention further or talk about as far as trying to do this for other people, other schizoids and otherwise that want to submit, and anything else you want to talk about? How, any other details associated with that or associated with your work or notes you had regarding your work that you want to share or your experiences?
Like I mentioned earlier, I have the server where you can put your submissions. I intend for there to be its own section for Arthedonia, so there'll be a very simple and short application to access that part of the server. Nothing complicated, just to make sure that the people that want to submit have some privacy, and to make sure that the people who submit are zoids, and that's all.
Cool. Um, Also, want to mention to people watching regarding all this. I had done something by the same name a long time ago, probably over a year now. I attempted to do something by myself with the same name, Arthedonia, and it was in which I was just kind of looking at. I did two of them in which I was looking at art from people like the ones we described, and I was just kind of stream of consciousness talking about what it is I was seeing and experiencing, looking at it. And I mean, I enjoyed doing it. I enjoyed doing it. The videos themselves didn't do well. People weren't, I guess, interested in looking at art because it was just maybe me rambling, and also probably because we didn't have the artists there to talk about some of their inspirations and stuff. So I'm hoping that we can have more of that because I, regardless of how well this particular upload does, I'm going to keep doing it because I think it's important. Um, but I'm glad I'm going to have Mila here to kind of bounce stuff off of, and they can bounce stuff off me. As usual, because I'm a fucking loudmouth, I'll be doing most of the talking, but it will be nice to have someone else's thoughts in the room with me, especially somebody that's actually an artist, not like me, who's just some loser on the internet trying to stream and help peeps, I guess. So, yeah, I hate it because I wish I was artistically inclined. Like, and I never really have been. I've never been able to sit still long enough to draw or paint or create music. But I've always been a aficionado of all forms of imagination and creative works and things like that. So this is kind of like really really important to me for very personal reasons as well. Um, okay. I think we're good, Mele. Is there any last words?
Yeah, I hope we get some submissions, but since we're talking about zoids,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, we can't be too sure.
No, it's going to be
Um,
tough. It's going to be tough,
yeah,
but
and
that's okay.
we don't really know how often we can do this,
Hmm.
considering we don't really know how often we'll get submissions or if we even get any.
Yeah. If
But
people want to submit, where should they submit them to on the server? Or
yeah, on the server, on the section that I plan to be just for Arthedonia.
okay. So yeah, we'll have a section in place there. Join the server. We'll put the link at the bottom of the description. It should be there, and click on it. Join both creative meets. You schizoids out there, and otherwise, or schizoid adjacent peeps that want to join and look at art and talk about art and whatever else, and maybe submit stuff similar to this. I mean, in this
And
way.
anyone who wants to join, it's not
No,
just for
it's
Zoids.
no, yeah, that's why I said or adjacent. Like whatever weirdos
Yeah,
are out there, whatever kind of
yeah,
outsider are people that feel like their art is like they have trouble sharing it, or they feel like their art isn't accepted in a lot of places, or it's too weird, or it's too this, or it's too personal, whatever. If you want to look at art that's unconventional and you have unconventional art to put on display, that's a cool place to do it. And like I said, it doesn't just have to be visual. It could be, you could be a creator on YouTube. You could be a musician. You could be writing video essays. You could be writing poetry. Right? All that stuff's good. Anything you want, as long as you're
yeah.
making it. Um, and yeah, join both creative meets and join the Zoid Void. Especially if you're a schizoid looking for a support and advocacy sort of channel. I mean, well, server, so you can share experiences and just have a little fun with other people that deal with some of these issues. So join that as well. If you like this particular recording or anything else associated with the channel, or if you like the server, please support me on Patreon or PayPal. It's all listed as well. You can also, if you don't like any of that stuff, you can just send me crypto. I have I think Litecoin or Ether or something on there, as well as what was the other one? A Cash App and whatever else, like whatever works for you. All of it goes toward me spending more time doing more things like this and supporting more Zoids in a manner that I best can. Thank you for joining me, and yeah, that's it.